Welcome to Coming In Hot. Thank you, LaLa from Airplay Beats for the intro music. We are recording live from Darling New Media Studios in Midtown Sac. Now, everybody out there, you know we like to get these big guests in here. We got Pedro Rivera, anchor with Fox 40 News. What's up, Pedro?
I love that intro. It's so much energy.
Yeah, that's what I do, man. You know, especially for Sacramento celebrities, you know what I mean? You know, I couldn't do it as good as Courtney Dempsey because she'll call me and be like, hey, that's fucked up. You gave Pedro a better intro.
Nah, you killed it. You killed it, though. You killed it. That was absolutely phenomenal.
Hey, thanks so much, man. So do you remember I came in, I was doing Calling All Dreamers. Man, this is the first time I met you, but you know, I'm sitting here and I'm making all this food, and then you're like, "Yeah, I can't eat it. I'm vegan." But
so that happened to me today.
Okay.
So we had Calling All Dreamers came on today.
Okay.
Literally the same thing, and they brought in I think it was, I forgot who it was. I think it's Sloppy Seconds. I think it's called Seconds out of Elk Grove.
They didn't change that damn name yet.
No, it's still Sloppy Seconds. So they came in today and they had all this food, this tri-tip and stuff, and I was just like, I don't eat this stuff. I'm pescatarian, though, so I eat fish and stuff.
Okay.
But I listen. But the food I already know. I already hear a lot about. You know, the chicken.
Well, Pedro, I got a cauliflower vegan sandwich now. So
that's what I'm talking about. Bring that into the studio.
You gotta come through, Pedro. They already tell you to come to the studio. You gotta come through.
Yo, get off your ass and come down to the restaurant. Come on.
Hey, man.
I'm lazy like that, though. I'm lazy like that now in business. Pedro, I'm like, come to the studio. I'll be there anyway.
Hey, next time I get invited, I'll make sure I bring some of the cauliflower because I actually do need to go back because you guys haven't had the cauliflower yet. So, need to get up on there. Hey, so I know you're not from Sac. Where are you from, Pedro?
I was from New York, born in the Bronx, grew up in Albany.
That's what's
and
up.
then back down to the Bronx. So
BX.
I'm a New York guy. I like to say I'm from New York because I've lived in the Bronx and upstate in Albany, the capital. So back and forth.
Okay. So how was it growing up? You know, the Bronx. You know, I'm sure when you was growing up, it was still real out there, and wasn't no Jamba Juices.
Nah, and it's still real. The Bronx is the most authentic borough you'll find. It's the most true to its nature. You know, gentrification hasn't really hit the Bronx yet, so that's been honestly a blessing because you got that culture, that Spanish culture, the hip hop culture. You know, that's where hip hop was founded.
Hip hop was born.
You know, I was born in Monroe Projects, you know, and Soundview, and that's where I'm from. My mother was born and raised there. She was born in Puerto Rico, but she was raised there. So, growing up in New York, it was great. And then in Albany, you had a weird mix of like people from the city. Like my mom was like, I want a better life for my kids. So they all moved up there, but all it became was New York City Part 2, right? Like just everybody from the city there. So now everyone's like
doing the same shit they was doing in the Bronx.
Stuff. So we still in the streets. You still got these hood ass kids running around, and you know that's just what it was for us. You know what I'm saying? Growing up in New York, and then it wasn't until that like I went to this small town for high school. My mom moved us to this really small town called Ellenville, where I started like, oh, college is a possibility, and like really, you know, doing things that like I didn't think I would ever do, and now I'm in this position that you know I didn't think was possible. So.
Yeah. So, you know, growing up in a small town, it was still in New York.
Yeah, it's still New York. I was in New York. Yeah.
What were you doing there? Because you know you're starting to think about college, and you know, was your high school there, and then how you know, like, were you always thinking about like something in TV, entertainment, news? Like, what was the plan for Lil Pedro?
Well, Lil Pedro in the 7th grade, I saw this meteorologist came into my classroom in Albany, and I saw him. I was like, oh, he's so cool. His name was Steve Caparizzo. He had this slick white hair, tall guy, and I was just like, he looked really cool. And I was like, I want to be like Steve. And then I learned like I don't know nothing about weather, so I can't do no meteorology and shit. That's just not me. So I was like, I ain't gonna do that, but I would love to be a reporter. So when I went to my high school, they happened to have a TV station and a radio station in the high school. So when they had the TV station and the radio station, okay, let me get my hands in this. And I started doing it. They gave me my own show. I had a sports show and an interviewing show. And sometimes I would cover like basketball games. When I didn't play my senior year, I would do the basketball games. And I would do like, little things like that. And that's when I got my, my feet wet. And I was like, okay, this is something I want to pursue. And then that was it. From there, I just started applying to colleges and I got accepted to one school. And I wasn't a great student, just frankly. I got accepted to one school, and I'm so thankful for the opportunity because they believed in me, and they gave me the shot. And Pace, they accepted me. I went to Pace and on an academic like probation. Like they were like, if you get one bad grade, you're gone. But it's about every opportunity, no matter if it's just one. I got one opportunity and I took advantage of it. And now I'm working with people who have master's degrees, and I'm tossing to people who went to some of the top journalism schools in the country, and I didn't go to one. So it's just about how hard you work. You know what I mean?
And and when your back's against the wall, and I'm from Strawberry Man's right here, outside Del Paso Heights. So we kind of grow up like that. We kind of grow up with if you don't do this, you're gonna be back there. There's no really in between. Especially, coming from the projects like you, like I grew up in the hood, but you keep that kind of mentality as you grow up, hey, they gave you a chance, but if you get 1D, you out of here. So, and that's how I do when it, especially with the pandemic, it was all right, so I got to shut down my shit or I got to change, or I got to pivot. Yeah, I'm going to go with the pivot part. You know what I'm saying?
You got to be flexible because everybody's going my mother was a project kid growing up, and then I was born in the projects, and then she moved, she pivoted, right? Like she had 4 kids and she was a single mom of 4 kids. She was like, I need to do something else. So she pivoted, took us to Albany, and then got us in a nice place, but it was still the streets, it was still in it. But we, I looked at my brothers and sisters ahead of me because I got older siblings, and I looked at all the decisions they made, the good, the bad decisions, and I just learned from them. And I kept pivoting. I mean, I would say that's the reason why I'm in the position I am now is because I didn't just stay pigeonholed into what people expected me to be. You know what I mean? I just quickly just kept taking their decisions ahead of me and following the right route.
Yeah. And out of all the bullshit, when you look back at your moms and you see how much sacrifice she had to go through just for, just to get you guys from the Bronx to Albany to the little small area of New York. It's crazy because I always say, I used to be upset at my parents because I didn't have the Jordans, because I went to Mariloma, majority white school. I think it was 70-30, you know what I mean? But, it was hard for me to even explain where I came from because they don't understand that. So you gotta be like, oh, that rap video you saw, it's kind of like that, and then my parents would get mad at me because they're like, we don't live like that. I was like, no, it's just how I gotta explain because they never seen no shit like that or ever heard of anybody coming from, it wasn't like we was out in the street or doing nothing. We had a house, we had food, we had clothes. It just wasn't at that level. So you going to this college, what was that difference from growing up in the Bronx, moving to Albany, but the Bronx came with you to the small high school? How did college change your mindset and how you viewed the world from where you came from?
No, it changed me a lot because I had, my father was around, he was a big part of my life too and everything. My father bought me my first car. I remember when I went to college, he bought me a 92 Toyota Camry, So for me, I'm like, yo, I got a Camry. This is it. I'm not a materialistic person. I'm still to this day, not a materialistic person. So he gave me the car. I was so happy to have it. But I go to college and all these kids are driving white BMWs and white houses. And I'm just like, my car's smoking up, the hill trying to get up. And all these people got nice cars and clothes, and they go to concerts, they just call their parents. And, and I would call my mom and dad, like, yo, can I get, $40 here, 50 here? And sometimes they would be able to do it. They had it and they would, send it to me. But I'm so appreciative for that.
Mm-hmm.
So like, it changed me a lot, like, to see how other people live. But honestly, I never felt any resentment. Real talk, I was always on some, like, that's them. That's their lifestyle. I don't have that lifestyle. Good for you. You know what I mean? For me, it was always, I knew early on, where my mother, how hard she worked to make sure that we had our education. We worked hard, to get us to where we're at today. So I was always appreciative. But yeah, it's funny when you talk to some people and, I try to explain to them, where I'm from and everything. And they're like, oh, you're from the streets. Like, nah, it's not that serious, because that I love when I go back to the Bronx. Like I love when I go home. And now my mother, she's bought a house on City Island, which is like one of the nicest neighborhoods in the Bronx, and we moving up, and that's a move up for all of us. So I always look at her as like my inspiration, going from Monroe Projects to where she's at now.
Yeah.
She's on City Island, one of the best places, in the Bronx to live. So yeah, I'm super appreciative.
Yeah, same with my parents. They didn't make it as a couple, but they're both remarried, happy as hell, living in the house. But I didn't have that. So, so it's great that our parents are doing what they want to do, and they got us to where we are, and got us up out the house, and now we got to make our own way, and for the future.
But it's funny now I tell my mom though, now that we in this position where she's doing well, we starting to make money, my brothers are making money, everybody's thriving. We gotta get that hood mentality out. You know what I'm saying? Like we can throw away the bags, the old bags. We can throw them away now. We don't gotta keep storing bags. You know what I'm saying? You don't gotta use the old butter containers and
with the bacon grease and the fish grease. Nah, my pops still do it. My pops live in El Dorado, bro. And you know what I'm saying? Like I go up there, he still got that greasy ass fucking little teacup, it looks like, with the fish grease in there.
You like throw it out.
Yeah, I'm like, is you for real right here, Pop? It's like it makes the chicken taste good. Just a little, you gotta put a little bit in there to get it going. I'm like, man, you got me fucked up.
That's how it is.
Well, my mom has moved on. She is how she lives.
No, we get my mom slowly but surely. Like I'm moving her along, but we could throw out the plastic forks. You get some Chinese food. You don't got to keep the containers with
the sauces. Got the whole drawer.
The drawer. We can clean the drawer out. We can put something else more useful in it. She's great. My mother, she's phenomenal.
Hey, shout out to moms. Hey, we know you're a sports fan. Yeah. How did you get? Were you an athlete growing up? Like, how did you get so big into sports? And we'll get to how you're a Hornets fan, because I don't think I've ever heard of a Hornets fan before. But yeah,
hello. How's it going?
So how did you get so big into sports? And we gotta get to this Hornets thing.
I was always a sports fan. Like for me, I was an aggressive kid. I used to fight a lot. I got kicked out of a lot of schools growing up as a kid because I used to fight. That's how I took my anger out. So when I got into sports, when I got to high school and I saw that, I could play football and I could do basketball, I just learned to channel my anger from fighting to sports. And, this is a legal way I could take my frustration out. If I'm upset with something, I go to practice and I just put it all there. And sports is a great way for me to, let all that out. So sports and extracurriculars I did during high school, it was phenomenal. So I've always been into sports ever since I was a kid. I was just always drawn to it. With the Hornets specifically, it was 2000. I remember it was like 2003 or something. I was like in middle school. I think I was in 9th or 8th grade. It was around there. I was playing basketball and my coach said, watch Emeka Okafor, UConn. Kid's amazing. So I was watching Emeka Okafor during his senior year, and he was killing dude, big, brolic. And he, my coach was like, I want you to play like him because I was one of the tallest at the time, at school. Even though now he ruined my life because he had me playing like a center and I'm only 6 foot tall, showing me how to dribble the ball, but I'm like doing post moves. And I'm 6 foot. So anyway. He said, watch Emeka. So I did. I learned defensive rebounding, watching Emeka. So whenever he got drafted, I said, I told my mom, whatever team he goes to is going to be my team. I love Emeka Okafor. I'm going with him wherever he goes. He ended up going number 2 to the Hornets instead of number 1. Dwight Howard went 1 to the Magic.
Orlando, yep.
That was it. So once he went number 2, I was with the Bobcats since 03. He was their first ever draft pick too. So I've been a Bobcat Hornet fan since 2003. Now imagine growing up as a kid in New York and, Latrell and all these guys that just came off like a pretty hot run, right?
Yeah.
Like the Knicks were still like pretty relevant at the time, but for me, and then we had the Vince Carter Nets and Jason Kidd Nets. But for me, it was always like Bobcats. I would go to games and I'm rocking a Bobcat jersey, and I flew to Charlotte. I got the Hornets tattooed on my back.
Oh wow, you about that life, huh?
I got my teams tatted on my back.
All right. Hey,
I don't play with my teams.
Hey man.
Now look at us. Now look at the Hornets. You got LaMelo.
Yeah. No, you got LaMelo. He ain't gonna end up in the Bulls in a couple years. Isn't that what they talking about?
Let me enjoy it right now. Let me just be happy for a little bit.
Okay, I'll let you have that one. All right, Charlotte Hornets. Michael Jordan, the greatest player ever, probably the worst owner in history.
Yeah, he's had some interesting picks, but not anymore.
Hey, LaMelo was a good one. LaMelo was a good one. They team gonna be a problem this year. They might be a problem. They might squeak in.
You hear it as no. Hear me now. It's gonna be a 5th seed next year. 5th or 4th seed.
Okay.
5th or 4th seed. I guarantee you. We were a 4th seed until
what my odds on the under?
Not well. I wouldn't have put my money on it. Yo, listen, you're never gonna get me to say anything negative about my team. I'll just tell you right now. We went in the championship.
I'm trying to get some odds on the under on that one, man. I'll take you up on that one.
I'm good. I'm just saying. We're gonna be good. We're gonna be good, man. Even the years when we had DJ Augustine and just some trash players, man. I was thinking we were winning the championship every year. That's how I roll.
Hey man, I gotta take you to Vegas one of these days. Get some of these bets.
Take my money.
All right. So out of college, do you go right into TV? Do you start with radio? Like how do you get to the TV part of all this? Because we are saying, in high school, your coach over here got you playing center as a 6-footer. We know where that goes. How did you get into TV outside college, or did you start in college?
Yeah, no, I got an internship at WABC in New York City. Again, okay. I repeat, I got one internship. I didn't have a bunch. I got one. But from that opportunity, my resume, was good enough. And I got a job as a news assistant out of college. I was working at an office paper supply company, like The Office, literally like The Office, for maybe 2 weeks. Okay. And then this TV station said, listen, we need a news assistant, pretty much someone who could shoot video, edit, do everything. And I was like, I raised my hand. I took it. I was making $10 an hour in New York City to do this job. And when I was there, I already had a plan. Like, I want to be a reporter, but I didn't know much about how to report. So what I did was, during my time there, I'm working with great reporters in New York, behind the camera, filming them every day. And then I would shoot myself, watch it, critique it, send it to people to critique me. And then I took a full-time position as a cameraman in Connecticut. And it was during that time in Connecticut, I started covering some really big stories. And I'm watching how professionals operate, and if you're not sitting back and learning and asking questions, then you're wasting your time, So I was just sitting back and I would question. I would ask, how do you do this? Why did you write this a certain way? And I would give input on the video I shot so they can use it. I was just pretty much trying to be a student of the game, you know what I mean? And just always practicing. So then eventually, I put together a resume reel. As I was a cameraman, I it's just like shots of me in front of the camera reporting. And then I sent it to a couple TV stations around the country. And then one station hit me up, and that was Arkansas. And that's when I made the transition to 4029 News in Arkansas, and I got on air.
Okay. Did you start as as an anchor, or did you have to do okay?
Now I was put reporting in the field Monday through Friday mornings, which is like the lowest of the low. And I was a bureau reporter, so it wasn't even like I was in Fayetteville, which is like the
You're
nice.
A what reporter?
I was a bureau reporter, so pretty much
okay.
Yeah, so pretty much like here in the Sacramento market, Sacramento's the main hub. Stockton, you have someone who lives in Stockton, and they would cover all of Stockton news.
Gotcha.
They're not in Sacramento doing the day-to-day stuff. So I was the bureau reporter for Arkansas. I was in this small town called Fort Smith. So I was at the bottom of the bottom, and I was just working. And my time there was interesting because I ain't really culturally, going from New York and Connecticut, which is pretty much New York, to Arkansas was like mind blown how different it is. That was a culture shock, big culture shock. So I did 3 years there. Even though I didn't really want it, I was trying to get out of there way sooner, but station they wanted, they wouldn't let me go, and I was there for 3 years. And I got Sacramento, and I came here as a reporter, did that, and then one day I was like, hey, can I anchor? Can I fill in? Can I try it? I never anchored before. I think I anchored in Arkansas one day. They gave me one opportunity to anchor, so that was it. And then I made the switch.
Okay, and how long were you in Arkansas for?
3 years. 3 years in Arkansas.
Okay. After that,
After that, Sacramento. And I was reporting for about 2 years in Sacramento, and then a job came open. Paul Robbins left Fox 40, and I went after his job. And it was crazy because they would bring in people to read for the job. They bring in outsiders or other people in the company to read for this job that I'm trying. And it was a lot of pressure because it's but I didn't get mad at it. I never get mad at anyone who's thriving or anyone who's doing well. Even if I want the job, go get your money. You know what I'm saying? For me, it's step my game up. It pushes me. So I was literally okay, well, I'm gonna come in earlier. I'm gonna work harder, and then I got the job.
Hey, kids out there listening, do you hear that? Work hard, and you get the job.
Yeah, don't hate on other people, man. Don't hate on other people. Don't hate on other people. They literally, I'll tell you, with Fox 40, they brought in a new anchor, Richard Sharp, who's now been with us for about 2 years now. But when they brought him in, they're like, okay, he's gonna come in and he's gonna be the guy, the morning guy, and you're gonna, I didn't get mad at him. I wasn't like, who's this guy? Blah blah blah. Nah, I was like, go ahead, do you? I'm gonna work just as hard or harder. So let's go. And I did, and now we're in a position where we share the time and we're equals, and that's just a testament to that, not being a hater.
yeah, for sure, man. And so what are some of the differences that you kind of, when you landed in Sac? I know you're coming from, Arkansas, but what are some of those differences that, you came here? I know when Chris Webb came here, he said he started almost crying because all he saw was cow fields. How was it, you coming from, from New York to Arkansas to Sac? What was the vibe like for you when you landed here? Well, we ain't got too many Dominicans either around here. Yeah, we got Puerto Ricans. We ain't got a lot of Dominican Puerto Ricans around.
That was different. Getting used to that, not seeing, because it's interesting when I go up to Spanish people here and I start speaking in Spanish, they look at me like, yo, who's this black guy talking? Because they're not used to seeing people that look like me. You know what I'm saying? So that's interesting. But now, honestly, I was coming from Arkansas, so anything's better. All respect in the world to Arkansas, all respect in the world to that place. I learned a lot as a journalist, but culturally, I was so happy to be there. I was so happy to be here. And when I got here, the city embraced me. I had to get used to the music and stuff because we New York hip hop and stuff. So I had to get used to Mozzie and all these different people who
Come on now, Ebro was here. Ebro was here before he went to New York. So don't be over here acting like Sac.
I had to get used to the Bay Area and everything.
Yeah.
And,
hey, Bay Area is different. That's some different music right there.
That was different, but but overall, I love Sacramento, man. I just think it's such a great city. Low key, the restaurant scene is wonderful. There's a lot of culture here. We get people from around the world that come here to Sacramento. The art scene is great. I just think it has so much. So when I talk to people and I tell them about Sacramento, I always say it's probably, I would say, top 3 most underrated cities in the country.
I could agree with that.
You know, like Kansas City. I love Kansas City. I would put Kansas City on that list when you talk about art and food, and Kansas City's phenomenal. And then I would put, you know, Sacramento right there, 1 or 2, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
No, and I, you know, like I was in San Francisco for the longest time, and you know, people were always like down in Sacramento. I'm like, man, it's the capital. You should respect it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like we get down up there. You know what I mean? Like, but you know, back in 2004 when I moved there, it wasn't like it was here. It was a little rumbling, and I think Chef Tui, he came like, you know, around 2007, 2008, and Grange, and you know, just kind of started this whole farm to fork movement. And you know, like I think people are still like, people when they come to Sac, they're kind of the same way you are. It's like, oh, you know, I thought it was this way, but it's totally this way. You know, my boy comes from the Bay all the time, and he's like, dude, I just love it here. He always says, I can't move here because my wife's family's down in the Bay, and you know, like they're older. I was like, man, you know, like you gotta get here.
I think whatever you want to look for, you can find it here. If you're looking for like nightlife and stuff, there's nightlife here. If you're looking for, and this is coming from someone who's lived in New York City, I've experienced that nightlife. Like if you want to have a good time, you can find it here. If you're looking for a relaxing weekend, if you want to raise a family, I mean, there's literally everything for you here. And then when you talk about the food scene, I mean, you want Ethiopian, you want Thai, you find some of the best places around here. Seriously.
No, they get down out here, you know, like I'm one of those people, like I'm a hole in the wall kind of person. So, you know, there's a lot of places that I roll to, and people are like, where the fuck are we going? You know, I'm like, man, these are the best tacos in the city right here, you know?
I had to bring my boys. I was like, listen, we're going to get brunch the other day. I was like, we'll go get brunch. They're like, where are we going? I said, we're going to order from Harry's.
Yeah.
There ain't no sit down.
Nah.
There's going to be no sit down. This is going to be get some fried rice. We got the Harry's special. You know, and that's it. And trust me, you're going to love it.
You sit right here on the sidewalk and fucking get down.
Yeah, that kind of place, you know, but you can find all that in Sacramento. I don't know. I love this city so much. And I feel like at the time of my life when I moved here, I was so down on myself, like as a journalist, because I was in Arkansas. I didn't know if I was good enough. And then I came here and the city just like opened their arms and just took me in. And, you know, I love Sacramento.
Yeah, you know, like Sacramento, they open their arms up, you know, just as long as you ride for us, we'll ride for you always. And it kind of seems like that's, you know, what you did when you came here. You know, I see the shirt, the Sacramento gear, shout out, you know, so no, that's dope. You recently filled in for a station in LA. How'd that go for you?
Oh, it went well, man. I'll tell you, they showed me so much love. I was surprised because I was filling in on the weekend morning show for our sister station, KTLA. And, you know, you're filling in that weekend morning show is their most popular show. And people like down there love the news and they watch all the time. So like I got recognized. I was down in LA. I did one show. I was walking in Glendale at the mall and somebody was like, yo, you're the guy on TV today. You know, like I never had that before. You know, I get recognized in Sacramento, but I've been here 4.5 years. Of course, somebody's going to recognize me. But in LA, I did one show and I was already getting messages, come down to LA, you know, and I was filling in for Mark Messer, who's, you know, very popular guy down there. So I was nervous, like people gonna hate me because I'm not him. But I went down there and I did my thing, and LA showed me a lot of love. I love LA. That was my first time like really experiencing LA, and I had such an amazing time.
Nah, that's what's up, man. Love that they showed you love.
What's
that?
Station. And it was big for our station too. Like,
oh, good.
Like we're sending someone from Sacramento, so it was like, you know, I was repping Sac down there, and I was on any opportunity I had to talk about Sacramento, I was doing it.
Good, yeah, that's what's up. Everywhere I go, I got the SacTown somewhere on me. You know, like this is hella big too. Like this ridiculous. Hey, what's next for you, bro?
You know, I'm figuring it out. You know, I still have some time here on my contract in Sacramento, but you know, I'm very fortunate to be in a position where, you know, stations are interested in me, and you know, I'm gonna see where I end up. But regardless of where I end up, I just know this is gonna be one of those cities I come back to. I'll probably never go back to Arkansas. Fair to say, I'll probably never go back there. I will probably within, every couple of months come back to Sacramento. Okay. I see it as this kind of place. I made such amazing friendships here, and my station has been the hardest working team I know. I say that very confidently. We work so hard, and they put me in a position to be successful. So I'm very thankful. We'll see where I end up.
It would New York be like a dream position for you? Because that's the media capital of the world.
Number one in the country. New York is home. You know what I'm saying? So to get back to New York would be phenomenal. But there's a lot of other markets in those top 10s that are pay well, that are great stations. And for me, I'm at a point where I want to be able to take care of my family a little better financially, and I want to hey, as long as it's got a big airport that I can fly direct flights to, I'm happy no matter where it is.
That's what's up. Yeah. All right. So we do top fives around here. I got a couple top fives. You're a single guy, right?
Yeah.
All right. So ladies out there, you heard it first here. Pedro is single. He's still single. He's out here in these streets.
I'm outside.
Yeah, I'm outside. Oh, before we get into this, New York guy, what did you think about the Locks Dipset?
Well, listen, I grew up on both, right? Like I remember going to school with the long pink tees, and and also like walking down the street thinking I was in the military doing D Block, mighty mighty D Block. So that was like the most phenomenal New York moment, and we needed that. We really needed that. And Jadakiss, I mean, every song he was singing, I felt like I was back to my childhood, So him, Chic Luch, phenomenal. So for me, I loved seeing Jada go out. Jada did his thing, and he held down the city, and he demolished. He demolished. I mean, it's everyone agrees, right? He demolished.
Yeah. Well, my wife, she, like I was big in the Dipset. Like I was a huge Dipset guy, but I knew about the Locks. Probably had every Locks album. I'm a hip hop head.
They're underrated.
So but I never like really when my wife told me about the verses, I was like, oh yeah, Dipset got it. I wasn't even I didn't even want to look at it. But my wife, she was upstairs. I was in my office, and she was like, "You gotta turn this on." And I turned it on as soon as I think he was like telling everybody to be quiet, and then that's when he dissed them about doing the lip syncing. And I couldn't put down my phone for the next hour. I was like, this is something everybody's gonna be talking about this after this. Like I was on Twitter. I'm never on Twitter. I was, I was over there looking up, Fat Joe's feed. Like he was there. Let me see what he's saying. You know what I mean? And it was special for hip hop.
It's something for hip hop.
It's something that hip hop needed. I'm glad that, there was nothing that nobody could say when they left. There was no fights. There was no shooting. There's nothing. So,
but that's the culture though. But that's the culture in New York. Like you could talk to someone, even like when we drive around in cars, whatever, and you get road rage on the road and someone cuts you off, you yell at them, give them the finger, and then you keep driving. No one's like, people ain't coming out the car and getting it popping or, like you could, that's just who we are. We're loud people and we argue and then we just go on with life. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So for me to watch those two groups come together, so it was my childhood. I got to watch that. And I was like, this is the most phenomenal thing ever. The only more New York it could get is probably getting Jay-Z and Nas going head to head on a versus. It's the only thing that we could get that would be comparable, which Jay-Z would win. But
Jay, come on now, Jay-Z would. He's a better showman. It'll be like the Locks, like they are choreographed pretty much, but
they had comebacks for everyone, and that's
they
the
thing. But it's the DJ too controlling it. Like, this is what we gonna do. Like, and then as soon as he drops it, they already knew like what the vibe was. But Dipset, like they disappointed me. you know, but I did go back and I saw the whole thing. I can understand like that first half, maybe it was neck to neck, but
I don't think they didn't bring that energy. They weren't ready for that.
But every Cam song was
fire.
It was fire. Like if Cam just was up there by himself without homeboy being
Jim
high
Jones.
off his ass and Jim Jones, who knows where he's just trying to put jewelry on the whole time. You know what I mean? More change. Like, man, if they would have just practiced a little bit, I think it would have been a little bit better. But Locks shut that shit down when that fool Jules said, "Hey, you ain't got no girl music."
And the Mariah Carey.
Oh man, when he said we got Grammys, you got rims, we got Grammys.
Yo, that was so New York. It was so New York. It was disgusting.
I felt like I was there. I was so in tune.
He had the anthem with Fat Joe, the New York, the Ja. That's like an anthem for New York. I mean, it wasn't close. It wasn't close.
Yeah.
It was a blowout.
It like whatever they have. I don't know how many songs they had at that second half of the show. Hey, it was 20-0.
I watched the whole thing, and I thought it wasn't even close. I thought it wasn't even. They weren't even in the same realm to me. It was bad.
Well, you know, at least Cam was there. You know, I feel bad for Cam because he had some heaters, and the other two just couldn't deliver. You know, like it was bad. Okay, back to the top five. Thanks for I haven't been able to talk to somebody about that verse.
I watched it.
It was amazing. Yeah. Top 5 places to take a date in Sac. And listen, ladies, he's single.
Okay. Oh wow. Top 5 places. Well, it depends, right? So we're gonna go on a mix of things, right? We're gonna do a mix of things. So if it's like if I want a day date, like go get a drink or something, I love going to Kupros, right? Okay. Sitting the outdoor patio up there, having a nice cocktail, relaxing. It's more of a casual vibe. Mm-hmm. So I like that. If I'm trying to go somewhere where I'm trying to like impress her a little bit, I'll probably go Beast and Bounty. I like going to Beast and Bounty. Okay. I like their variety because they have, you know, if I'm going with someone, she's a vegetarian or she's a meat eater, it's a perfect pricing is pretty solid. So I like going there.
Yeah, nice seasonal menu out there.
Yeah, great seasonal menu. Man, are we doing restaurants or just whatever?
You can do whatever you want, man.
Okay.
I haven't been on a date and like this my wife for about 8 years. So this is what.
No. And like with me, one thing I like to do though is I like to go to I like wine, right? So I'll do like the Rind or 58 Holding. 58 Holding is my spot. Like Chef Souza at 58 Holding, he does a great job. So I go there a lot for my dates. The Rind, or I'll do a day trip. I'll do like let's go to Amador County and we'll go to Antis, or we'll hit up Iron Hub, or we'll hit up some of these vineyards out in that Hellwig, and just do like a couple of tastings at a couple places. That's usually what I do. I'll go to get tastings in Amador, come back, and you could do 58 Holding for dinner. You could do day drinking at Kupros and that whole K Street scene down there. Lavender District area is pretty cool. Okay. So yeah, it's usually what I do.
Okay. All right.
Oh, and my boys at Tiger too. I like Tiger.
Shout out Tiger.
Nice spot like nights. If you're going out, you have dinner. Then you could go get drinks at Tiger. Even that place across the street, that new place that opened up across the street is it used to be El Rey. Now they're like a sports bar, sports kind of place.
And I'm on K Street, but I kind of stick to my. I fuck with my boys at Darling Aviary and that's DMC.
I didn't see. There's so many. I didn't even think. Darling Aviary with the rooftop over.
Yeah, man. We doing a collab. You gotta come through. It's September 10th through 12th.
Perfect. I'll be there.
I'll holler at you and tell you when to come down. So this is a fun one because it's top 5 Charlotte Hornets of all time.
See, this is what I've been waiting for. All right, no, okay. So we're gonna go.
Can't say Okafor. We already got Okafor out there. I'm gonna make it a little harder on you.
I'm not gonna put Okafor on the list. So at number 5, I'm gonna go with Del Curry, right? Del Curry.
Should have took him off the list too.
We took him off. Del Curry. We're gonna put Del Curry there. We're gonna put at number 4. I'm gonna go with Gerald Wallace. Gerald Crash Wallace.
Yeah, Sacramento native, not native, but he played for us.
Yeah, he played. That he ended up coming to Charlotte and just being a monster. I'm gonna put Big Al Jefferson at number 3, and I'm putting Al Jefferson there because he was the first big free agent that we got. I feel like when you talk Hornets, you gotta put Larry Johnson up there. You gotta put Larry Johnson, Grandmama. You gotta put him up there. And then number 1's Kemba Walker. Kemba Walker is all-time leading scorer in Hornets history, the greatest. And then if I could put just an honorable mention, I'm putting LaMelo Ball. That's it. LaMelo Ball, baby. Listen, don't he's the truth.
I'm not gonna say nothing.
Yo, he's the truth. Listen to me. He's gonna win MVP in the next 6 years. He'll win MVP. The guy is unbelievable. Unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it. Never. I watch a lot of basketball and I never see anything like it. Wait till watch.
I didn't say. I said.
I just can tell by your facial expression. You're speechless. You're speechless right now.
The only thing I'm going to tell you about LaMelo Ball, if he gets through a whole season, then I'll start watching. That's the only thing. When you're a rookie,
on 60 games, you won Rookie of the Year on 60 games.
I know, but I'll watch. For you, Pedro, I'm going to be watching. All right. At the end of the show, we come in hot. So any subject that you want to talk about, it could be political, it could be in the news realm, it could be funny, it could be hip hop, it could be anything you want. Pedro, it is time to come in hot. What you got, Pedro?
Okay, I'm gonna come in hot. Ooh, this is interesting. I'm gonna stay off the politics. That's something in my line of work I learned to do. Don't get anything political. If the only thing I will say that I don't think is political, but I think it's very important for people to do is get vaccinated, wear your masks, let's protect each other. A lot of these people in these businesses, they want to open up, they want to operate. Let's just do what we can. Let's try to get back to normal. If we could bring up those vaccination rates, I think it'll help out everyone. I want everybody to be safe. So that's what I will say. The Philadelphia Eagles are going to win the NFC East. The Yankees are going to win the World Series.
Holy shit.
Hold on. Wait a second. Hold on. I'm trying to think, what else can I come in hot with? What can I come in hot with? Oh, don't see the movie The Remnants with Hugh Jackman. It's terrible. What else can I come in with? Hold on. I'm trying to think. I'm just trying to think of stuff right now. I'm going off the head. Nah, that movie is a waste of 2 hours of my life. I can't all due respect to Hugh Jackman, phenomenal actor, but the movie was terrible.
Let's back up. Back up. The
Philadelphia Eagles. Try to go quick.
Hold on. The Philadelphia Eagles are gonna win the NFC East. It's the worst division in football, but the Eagles. Oh my God! You're an Eagles fan. You're a Hornets fan.
And a Yankee fan.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I don't know about the series this year, though. Come on now.
Now we in there. Yankees look good right now. We just lost 2 in a row, but we won 13 in a row before that. So we're doing all right. But I would say the only thing I can come in hot with is just to remind people to do the right thing. You got a lot of best way I heard it said was you got a lot of unvaccinated people wanting to do vaccinated stuff.
Yes.
A lot of unvaccinated people wanting to do vaccinated stuff. If you choose you don't want to be vaccinated, by all means, you have a right. You're a human being, and I believe in that just as much as any person. But I'm just asking that people be safe, and just if you're not vaccinated, just please be careful out there because I want everybody to be okay. I'm sick of reading these numbers and seeing how high it's going and the deaths, and I have to sit there and read it every day and relay it, and it's frustrating, No,
and I totally agree with you. There's a post going around this weekend, and it was just kind of saying, yeah, I'm vaccinated, but I didn't know what was in the vaccinations when I was a kid. I don't know what was in like Big Mac sauce. I don't know what's in this. I don't know what's in that. And I was like, I didn't repost it, but I was like, yeah, that's fucking right. You know what I mean? Like,
listen, there's a lot of things that I read that I'm like, especially as a journalist, you know what I'm saying, that I see some even my family members, because you got to know that, especially being a minority, Puerto Rican and Dominican, being and the African American community and the Latino community, there's a lot of hesitancy. There's a lot of like, I don't trust this stuff, you know.
Yeah, no, we've been guinea pigs for a long time.
Yeah, and I don't want to be a guinea pig anymore. You know what I'm saying? So I understand the hesitancy, but I always encourage people to just listen to the scientists. And you know, I don't think that's a controversial statement. I'm all for everyone having the free choice to do whatever they want with their bodies, but please just listen to the science. You know, that's I ain't coming in too hot. You know, I don't want to be, you know, but that's what I would say.
Just look out for your fellow man, you know,
Human.
or woman. Yeah,
we need a little more of that, man. We do. Like,
we're all human beings. We're all here together. We're all working through it together. You know, like, and it's 1 or 2 shots. You know, like and that'll help out millions of people from dying, because we already lost millions of people, and we want to stop losing people from this deadly disease.
Yeah, you want to, like, don't you want to, as a business owner, you want to do it, which, you know, you want people in there without a mask, and you like, everybody wants to look at each other and smile. We all want that. I don't think any person who's pro mask is like happy about masks. It's just it's what they're doing to follow science and trying to just do what's right so you don't infect the other human being. You know, people start doing that. Just think about the other person. You know, we're lucky we live in a country where we have choice. But
that's pretty much it, Pedro. Like, it seems like
I hope I don't get in trouble for saying that. But it's just
hey, man, don't worry. Nobody from Fox 40 is gonna be listening to this, Pedro. So you good. All right, you got to plug anything? You want to throw your DMs up there for all these lovely ladies out there?
Yeah, you can follow me at Real Pedro Rivera on Instagram, which I made that as a joke, but now I can't change the name because I'm verified, and I'm nervous if I change it, it'll get all messed up. So Real Pedro Rivera on Instagram, Pedro Rivera TV on Twitter. And please, if you guys have any news stories, any ideas, if you're a business out there and you're looking, you know, to come on and talk about what you're doing for the community, like, feel free, send me an email and let's see what we can do to get you on. And I would just tell everybody, if you could, tune into Fox 40. You know, I think we have a great team, and we work really hard, and we have a really well balanced team. We're not going to be all joking around, joke all day where it's kind of annoying. And then we're not going to be like ultra serious where it's just death and doom, you know, the whole show. We try to find a nice balance to give you the news that is important for the day, but as well, let's have some fun so you guys go to work with like a bright note, you know?
Yeah, man. You know, Fox 40 has always showed me love in any business that I was in. So, you know, and thank you, you know, when I was there for the Calling All Dreamers, you didn't say it on air. You didn't eat no meat, you know, it was like kind of off to the side.
Nah, yeah, I'm never going to do that.
Thank you.
Never do that. I feel bad.
Some people do, though, man. Some people be like, hey, I don't eat meat. I'm like, okay, like, you ain't need to go over there.
This is what I do. My trick is I bring in one of my coworkers. I'm like, all right, now we're gonna do a taste test with Maze and do a taste test.
I've seen you do it, yeah.
You know, I just let May do it, and you know, but you know, I already know your food. It's so popular, you know, and congratulations. And you know, it's interesting to be a business owner, a restaurant owner, especially during this time, right?
Yeah.
During COVID. So I wish you the best of luck with everything.
Hey, thank you. And we getting back out there. Don't forget to subscribe to Coming In Hot with Chef Cecil anywhere you listen to your podcast. If you want to holler at me directly, it's at Chef Cecil on all social media platforms. If you want to holler at this podcast, at Coming In Hot. And if you want those mouth-watering, delicious chicken or cauliflower sandwiches, holla at www.nashandproper.com, at nashandproper, at nashandproper.eg. Thank you, Pedro Rivera, for coming through. Appreciate you, brother. I got to get to the Bronx with you, man. Like, I was a big KRS-One fan back in the day. Still am to this day. Grew up on Woo. You know, that I got it tatted twice on me. You know what I mean? So, you know, Wu-Tang's my shit.
A couple years ago in Mountain View at the amphitheater.
I was there. Me and my boy Latif, live from Airplay Beats, the guy that does the intro music here. We both went up there. We both had our wives with us. Our wives were like looking at us like we was crazy, as we was over there going crazy. It was tight. It was probably the best show I've ever been to in my life.
That was phenomenal. When Killer Beast came on, I felt like I was a kid again. You know,
yeah.
Like,
and then Young Dirty Bastard going all the way through the goddamn the audience. He literally ran right past me.
It was crazy.
He ran right past me. Hey, but thanks, Sac, for coming out, listening. We'll be back next week. Peace. Love ya.
All right. That's good.